All right, class, let's get started. Let's do another low poly to high polygon. We're going to model the cat in the hat in cat in the hat. And we will start adding colors. So we'll learn a little bit about shading and viewport. All right. Again, if you have not seen the week one videos, they should be in the YouTube channel, basic UI edit versus object mode. Excuse me. And simple modeling tools. Okay. So just like the previous lesson, we're going to get started with, let me just increase my size here for my screencast so you can see it easier. All right. So Shift A, mesh, cylinder. Okay. Or go to add mesh and cylinder. All right. So let me delete this so that I'll see all my parameters, initial parameters. Down here, you'll see where it says add cylinder. Click that right arrow or chevron. Change the vertices to 32, so similar to the tombstone. We can go lower, but I think this is fine right here. It should give us enough variety in the layering of the hat, and it should be relative low poly. Okay. So what we need to do here is go to the front, numpad 1, if you have a numpad. If you don't, hit tilde, radial menu. Again, very important that you watch the week 1 videos. You can also find them in our YouTube channel. UI basics, edit versus object mode, and basic modeling tools. Okay. So the cat in the hat, it's about 5 layers. All right, it's alternating white, red, white, red, white, red. Okay, so it looks like it's about, we do a tab right here, and then I do a Control R right there. That kind of roughly eyeballing, the layers right there. So it's pretty much uh 5 layers going up. Okay, so what we need to do here is we can just count this one. So I'm going to click undo here. Okay, so this is 1 layer, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be that high over there. Okay, so what we want is not extrude this one, but just move all these vertices up so that we get to the 5th layer right there. So what I'll do here is drag a rectangle. I'm in edit mode. I'm in vertices selection. Remember, if you press 1, 2, 3, it changes from vertices. That's number 1. Number 2 is edge selection. The other one is face or poly selection. Okay. So there's several ways. Easiest one is just go to face mode and select the face right there. Go back to the front viewport, or click on tilde and then front. Okay, because what happens here is that if you're in object mode and you drag a rectangle, and it looks like you selected everything. Okay, but we only selected what we can perceive here or see in the viewport. If I rotate this a little bit, you can see all the vertices in the back. They didn't get selected. So if you want to select all those, we have the transparency or X-ray mode right here. Okay, it's this button right here. If you click that, it turns to X-ray. So you can see if there's other polygons or points in here inside a cylinder, you'll be able to see them. By clicking that, you're able to drag this rectangle the same as before, but you get to select everything because X-ray is on. Okay, so that's the only difference. So it's we can move this using faces, edges, or points. Okay, so I'm going to use the move gizmo right here, the move tool, instead of doing keyboard shortcut. You can also do that, of course, if you want to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be that top right there. So that's how high the hat will be. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing this. No need to snap it in there and make it perfect because it's going to change. Okay. All right. After this one, we need to do our loop cuts. So keyboard shortcut for loop cut. This is the tool for it. Okay. It's Control R. So this is kind of like a multi-step process. So if I do Control R, and it will create the cuts based on where you position your cursor. So if you position your cursor on a vertical edge, you will get horizontal cuts. If you position it on a horizontal edge, you will get a vertical cut. Okay. Watch this one. I'm going to do Control R, and it's putting it in there. But if I go here, so you can see I get a vertical cut. Okay. And this only works if you have quads. If you have a point that you can't see somewhere in here, that will break the loop and you won't be able to do this. So after I do Control R, it's asking me now how many cuts you want. So if you just want one cut, you can left click this now and end the tool. However, you can scroll your mouse, okay, until we get that 5 cuts. So 4 cuts meaning, or 4 cuts equals to 5 segments, right? So, and after that, you can left click to verify, and then so you can see my arrow now, it's pointing up and down. So you can still move those 4 cuts, but if you don't want to, you can just right click to cancel that movement, and voila, it created all those cuts. All right, that's it for that one. Okay, next one is we need to go to our number 3 right here, or face selection. We're going to select the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to delete that. Delete the face. Okay, while we're at it over here, we're going to select our edge selection. We're going to select one edge, and you can shift click all the way, or you can hold down Alt or Option on a Mac. And if you click it, it selects the entire ring. Okay, so we can go here like so, and then we're going to kind of approximate the hat, the canopy here, or the overall visor. But I'm just going to eyeball this one. So first I'm going to press E. There's my E for extrude. Then S to scale and drag the mouse. It creates that. So I think that's good enough right there. And while we're at it, I think on that one, the cat and the hat goes kind of down a little bit. So if I'm in the top one, probably carve a little bit more. Okay, right there. So that's our initial one. And we can start coloring, right? And then we can do our modeling. Okay, so and this one we can give it thickness later by adding a modifier called solidify. I can show you now real quick, and then we'll do it later once we have all the details. So where's my solidify? There you go. Under generate solidify, and you just simply give it even thickness, and then once you give it thickness like so, it's no longer paper thin, and you got your thickness for that one. All right. So, and for low poly, you're not going to see the inside. We can then apply this and delete that, and we just see this one right here. And then we can give it a little bit of a lip right there so that it becomes looking like there's thickness on the canopy here. Okay, so let's delete that for now. Hit X. Just want to show that to you. So, okay, let's go to color. All right, so from our first week's lesson, you can see that we have 4 different ways to view in Blender, right? The first one is you get to see it in wireframe. Second one's where we work a lot with just simple shading, solid, okay? The third one right here gives you artificial lighting. So you can preview your color, okay? So if you add color to this, you're in wireframe mode. Obviously, you're not going to see color because it's on wireframe. Solid mode, you may, this is where it gets confusing because you think like you're going to see color because you're in at least solid, but you won't. The only way you can see color is go here with material preview, third one. And then the fourth one is final render look, okay? Final render means this is what it's going to look like when you take your photo for processing, okay? So the third one is what we'll use while we're adding material because that's the purpose of it. It gives you an artificial lighting situation where you can pretty much look anywhere and see that everything is lit, so you can preview and not miss anything when you do your color. All right, again, the third one. All right, so let's go to the material tab. let me go to object mode here first, right? So let's go to material tab right here. All right, so in material tab, we don't have any color for this one. It's blank, so we can hit new. So when we hit new right there, it brings up all this slew of stuff that it's going to confuse you for now, but we're going just to concentrate on this first part. So the first thing we need to do is rename it, okay? Make this a habit, because if you don't, then you're using about 200 materials. You're going to be so confused. So I can just double click that, okay? Same thing how you rename anything in Windows or Mac. And then we're just going to type in here white. That's our white color, okay? Then we're going to add another one, okay? New. We're going to call this one red. With Can the Hat, I think it's fabric, so it has that kind of not shiny and shiny stuff. All right, so for our purpose, so we can add new materials other than just matted one, we're gonna make our red special, right? We're gonna make it like reflective red, kind of like a metallic red, okay? Just for the sake of having variation. All right, so let's go to white first. We want to make sure in the base color, this is pure white, okay? Right there. And then roughness is, this is when basically stating is this shiny or not shiny, okay? So if we make it shiny, then we drag this to less rough, okay? And if you increase the number all the way to the right, almost right there, very rough, that means it's dull or matted, okay? So we want this shiny. We're going to go around 0.2, 0.26. I mean, we'll change this as we, oh, sorry, this is white. So we want it, we want it right here around 0.8, okay? And then we're going to set up our red, okay? And remember, we want this metallic. So we're going to drag this metallic all the way to 1. Change the color to red. Make it darker a little bit, okay? And then roughness, probably we'll leave it right there. That's still reflective, okay? So now let's set this up, okay? So we have this, let's go shade smooth on this one. And then let's do our data tab, normals, auto smooth, okay? Of course, you can also right click that and shade auto smooth, but I want to show you how you do that manually. So whenever you master that, you don't need to go there, but we always go there for, to see some changes. All right, so now let's turn off our grid, floor, and the XY, just so that it cleans it up, okay? So this is how we apply multiple or single texture to our material, all right? So right now I can go to tab, go to object mode, edit mode, press A as in apple to select all the faces. I need to go to third one, okay? And then we can simply, let's say we start with red, I can assign that. As you can see, it just turns red. Or I can go to white and assign. That's how we do that. Okay, so now we just want to apply red to the selected one. So this one right here, okay, it's going to be red. So, but if you, let me get rid of my move tool so it doesn't get in the way. I'm going to go back to my select tool right here. So if you hold down Alt or Option and then click while you have one selected, this horizontal edge right here, it selects the entire ring. So in order to add multiple rings, you need to add Shift, Alt, and click that vertical line. Same thing here. And then finally, just hit Shift and then add the top. Once you have all this selected, we're going to go to red and click Assign. And there you go. So we got our variation of Cat in the Hat color right there. Okay, so now we are done with the color. All right, so we're now going to go to object mode. Okay, let's turn on some of the gizmos here. Let's have the floor at least and have XYZ so that we can see where we're going. So I'm going to press go to front viewport here, and we're going to save this one kind of like our initial one, right? So I'm going to go Shift D, then X axis or left or right or red, move it right there. So that's our original, okay? So let's start kind of get into the habit of naming these things also. So this one is the copy. So we're just going to call this one original low poly. Okay. I'm in the collection right now. Okay. Kind of like your outliner. Let's go with this one. So this is the low poly edited. Not edited yet, but we're about to. Okay. So, and then we'll have another one for our high poly. All right. So now let's do our forward slash. That hides everything except for this one. Okay. And we're going to click on our X-ray so that when we do our selection right here, X-ray is on, we get to select front to back. Again, we're in the front. Okay. So right here, I'm pretty sure this two right here, it's scaled up a bit. Okay. So when we do that, we can kind of change that a little bit right here, or we can just go per ring. Okay, so that it's not too kind of. All right, so I'm gonna start right here, then lower that a little bit. It's kind of looking at reference photo here. Okay, select that S, increase it. S, increase that. All right. Okay, and then I know this is low poly model, but we still got to do something with this one. So I'm gonna do Control R. Okay, just one. Click it, and then move it up. Then I'm gonna do S and scale it. So it kind of gave it that little bit of curvature. Let's add another one and leave it just right there. Left click and click. Okay. And Alt click this one. Selects all the way around. So let's kind of increase that a little bit. And maybe move it up a bit. All right. So what we did here is just kind of manipulated it. If I go to the other side here, it's pretty much kind of equal. All right. So if we go to the other side, let's click on numpad 3 or tilde right. Okay, we can now start kind of curving it. Okay, so again, it's very stiff right now. We didn't do anything to it. So we're going to go to point selection. So I'm going to select it all the way here. And then we can start kind of rotating it like so. And then G to move. So I press R and then G. Okay, right here. Press R to kind of rotate it. Then G to move it. Okay, R to rotate. Then G. All right, just so that it has a little bit of a kind of curvature going in there. And then let's probably push that a little bit in there. Maybe exaggerate the rotation a little bit more. Lower it. Okay, probably lower it here a little bit. Then let's select everything in here. Press R. All right, there you go. Okay. That pretty much did what we have to with the low poly version. Okay. And let's see what we can do here with this one. Maybe we can just select the, go to tab, turn off X-ray. Let's just select all these polygons here. So I'll do Alt click, Shift Alt click. All right, let's see if we just extrude this, press E and move it down. All right, let's see if that kind of works. Did we invert it? Oh yeah, there's two, because it's one-sided, that's not gonna work. Okay, so I was trying to cheat. All right, so let's apply that solidify. Okay, so add generate solidify. And let's go to, so we can better see this, let's go to a solid mode. Okay, as you can see here, there's the thickness. So we want even thickness right here. Probably on the rim. No. Let's add a little bit more. Okay, maybe up to that one. All right. And then what we can do is apply. Okay. Because right now when I hit tab, as you can see, I can't do anything to the solidify portion. As you can see, there's no selection of lines or points. Okay. Once we apply this, let's go to object mode first. Once we apply it, and I hit tab, as you can see now I have access to all this. All right, so totally up to you how you want to leave this one here, but we don't really need anything from the inside. We're not going to see it, okay? So what I did is I click here with face selection, okay? And that's the selection inside, okay? It's like below this one, okay? If I want to show you in X-ray mode, there it is, okay? So again, I'm selecting this inside. All right. And there's a nice little trick right here. If you have a numpad, this is really easy to do. I want to grow my selection from that inside polygon top and then make it go all the way down here, row per row per row of face selection. And to do that, you just need to do, if you have a numpad, right, you have a plus sign on your numpad. So if you hold down Control and plus, and as you can see, as I hit plus on the numpad, it just grew the selection. So I can actually go press X right now and delete faces, and it's gone. Okay, so the only polygons we have now is up to the rim, which is basically what we need, right? And a little bit over there, we can kind of leave that alone. No one's going to see that, or you can actually select those and move them up. Okay, let me do undo. So for those without the numpad, okay, we still have this selected. Okay, then we can go to our face, select, okay, and then we have the where did they put the select more or less, there you go. Okay, the if you click on, it's because the keyboard shortcut is Control Numpad plus, right? So you have to at least click it one time, click more. Okay, you can keep doing that, or you can also do, after this one, without doing anything, do Shift and then R. It repeats the last command, so it's kind of like having a Control plus. You just have to do the hard work of select and plus more at the beginning, but after that you can do the same thing. So right here I can just delete those faces and back to this one. So this is our low poly version of the hat. Okay, so now how do we make the high poly version? All right, so you kind of probably figure this out, that we're just going to add subdivision surface, but there's going to be stuff that's not going to work too well, right? So, and it doesn't look too bad right here. For low polygon, it's fairly smooth. You get to an angle right there. So kind of like when you play video games, right? You get, there's close-up of your main character, and then you see their shoulder pads and whatnot. You kind of see some polygons because you just can't hide those. You can do the cheat on the shading, but the number of polygons still prevalent, right? I don't know with PS5 and Xbox and RTX cards, man. The term low poly has new meaning now. They're still called low poly, but we're talking thousands or sometimes even millions, okay, of triangles or faces. Definitely has changed. Those things are powerful. They can process a lot of that stuff. Okay, so / we're going to do another duplicate, Shift D, then X, move that to the left right there. So we're going to name this one high, let's do this right, high poly edited, okay? And then we're going to do our / to isolate that. And then let's dig right to this. So we're going to add a modifier, like from the previous one, tombstone generate, subdivision surface, and yeah, there's the issue right there at the top. And let's go to our solid shading right here. Not too bad right here, except we can't we can't do our other stuff because it's not uh, there's just not a polygon right there. Okay. So, and we also need to get rid of auto smooth right there because we're using the subdivision surface. Let's go to this one, and 2 by 2. We're matching what's going to be rendered in this one. All right. So first things first, let's fix the top. Okay. So we got to select this portion right here. And then what we need to do is we want to extrude this going in. So like E and then S, but there's a tool that does that. It's the inset polygon, and the keyboard shortcut is I. If I press I and drag my mouse towards, you can see it added that ring. Okay, so we're gonna probably add it right here. Okay, and then we'll do I again. Then we get this part. Okay, and then we're gonna do our last I right here. Reason why we have this multiple sections of this is that we can then move these things. Let's say we're on the right side here. We go to our X-ray mode. I can bring that in a little bit so that it kind of creates this sunken portion. Okay. So if I go to number 2 or edge selection, there should be edge here that we can see. Let's temporarily turn this off. Okay. So we can see the selection like right here. Alt click this. Okay. And then if I go number 3 right here, G, just kind of moved it down a little bit. Let's go X-ray. All right. By just simply doing that, we kind of turn this back on. So click that icon right there, real time. Okay. So it kind of sank right there. Okay. All right. What else do we need here? Oh yeah, let's turn that off again. Let's do a proper polygon on this one. Okay. So we just need to create n-gons, and you can see here if I go to the top, you can kind of see where the straight lines will be horizontal, and we just need to kind of connect those. So press K, it's a knife tool like before in the tombstone video. Make sure you snap to that point and then snap to this. Okay, then I'll press enter to end the tool so you can transfer, press K to another one, and you don't need to click in the middle, it will automatically add a connection in there. Press enter, and then here K. Oh, undo, sorry. I could have gone across. Make sure you hit that one. Then we'll do the same thing here. K, click, left click, snap first, left click, and then press enter. And then there it is. That's all polygons now, quads. Okay. And what else can we do right here? So in here, we can maybe bevel this. Okay. So I'm going to press number 2 right here. And hit that selection. Let's see. We could see all this one. And I turn off our subdivision surface. Okay. So right here, we're going to right click and then bevel edge. I'm just going to drag the mouse. So when I drag that mouse right there, so that it gives it an angle so it doesn't cut it. Okay, let's turn this on and let's see. Okay, so that's a nice kind of roll off on that one. So, but before I click anything else, I do want to add some segments. So I'm going to open my bevel parameters right here and then, all right, so I did 3 segments. So it gives it a little bit more of a resolution right there. Let's turn on our subdivision surface. And let's see. All right. Looks good right there. And then for this ones, we'll do the exact same bevel. Okay, let's turn this off for now. All right. Let's select this edge all the way. Alt click, so it selected the whole thing. Same thing here. Shift, alt click. Go to solid mode so you see it better. Shift Alt click, Shift Alt click, or Option if you're on Mac. Okay, so there it is. So what we want to do is bevel this. So right click, bevel, and we just want to slightly bevel this one. All right, so can't really see until I zoom in on that one. So we don't want this much segment. We just want that one right there, 2. And then for the height, probably that's good enough. All right. So what we want here is select the edge in the middle. So if I select that edge in the middle, okay, then I can select all this, Shift Alt click, and we can scale it so it gives it like an indent. Okay. However, when I do this, right now our transform pivot point, or where is the center of the selection, we're using median point. Okay. And this is what happens when you're in the default median point. When you scale this, it's scaling towards the center. You see it? So it's doing something funky. So if I go to X-ray mode here, you can see it better. You see it? It's starting to scale towards the center, the median point. We don't want that. We want it to scale using the individual origins. We want it to scale in the center of each selection. Okay. So if I press S now, and then so you can see the difference. So it's going in. Okay. Let's zoom in. It's going in towards just the center. So how much of a indentation? Probably right there is good enough. Okay. Just a little bit. So just so that it has that kind of look right there that it went in. Okay. And after that, you switch that back to median point, because 99.9% you want to be in that pivot point selection when you do any of your transform. Okay. So let's turn this thing on. Let's go to this one. Let's see what that did. As you can see now, it's not very strong. As you can see right here, it's still not enough regarding setting like an individual. Okay, so what we can do here is actually bevel that. Okay, let's bevel that inside line. Drag the mouse, you can see. All right, so by doing that, and we got the segments to 2. All right, and let's take a look right here. Maybe we can scale that towards inside. So I'm going back to individual origin, press S, and scale it some more. All right, so now it's a little bit more obvious. Looks like it seemed like, there's a seam right there where they kind of attach all this sections. Okay, looks like it's sawn all in a different location. Okay, here we probably we went for that kind of bevel right here. We could have probably tucked it in like that, but that's fine right here. Okay, so what else can we do with this one? So let's go to tab. We can go to our point selection, and while we're in X-ray, we can kind of ripple some of this. So if I go select this, as you can see here, I'm selecting the inside also. Be careful not to select kind of like this, where you might end up selecting other points over there, all right? So I selected some of these and then turn on my gizmo right here. What you can do now is, like, if you select some of this part, and then you just kind of creating some diverse positioning of canopy here, so it's not a perfect kind of like a dome. All right, so we're just we're just doing the up and down, nothing too serious. And then just kind of randomly selecting, but I'm grouping, so that at least it's not too extreme. And of course, you can spend a lot of time in modeling, trying to make it as unique as you want to. All right, let's take a look. All right, just gave it some imperfection, different waviness. Okay. What else here? Maybe, again, this is the high polygon, right? The high poly model. So if I can go here, maybe add 2 cuts. Okay, and then scale those a little bit or scale them down. Okay, and then here, Control R, loop cut, do 2 cuts. And then I scale this down a little bit or bulge it out, totally up to you. Okay, and maybe that's too much. And did I go to, yeah, I need to go to median point. Bulge that out. Maybe just one right here. Here. Just a little bit, just so that it's not too kind of straight. All right. Let's go to object mode. Okay. All right, so that's the high poly version. And let's take a look at all 3 of them. All right, and that's how you make, again, same kind of process. And what you're learning here, including the tools, knife tool and loop cuts and extrude and duplicate, these are all generic 3D program. You can do this model, you can do this lesson exactly in Maya. Just need to find out where those tools are. And we're only using knife, loop cut. Did we even do extrude on this one? No. We have some subdivision surface modifiers add and solidify, but you can do this in 3D, S-Max, Cinema 4D. These are generic stuff that I'm teaching you, okay? So they're not exclusive to Blender, all right? But it's the whole purpose here is that you see the workflow of how you can get started from just a cylinder to the final product. And as you can see here, we started with this one, and I made sure that it's straight on all, so that when you it's easily manageable to edit. So if I started making this crooked already, or imagine if you did not color the simple one and you start coloring here, can you imagine how much more selection you need to do in order to get to those crevices right there just to apply the red color? Okay, again, that's another thing that you have to kind of consider. And we're just in material preview. This is not going to look good in the final render, not until we light it. But for now, we're not lighting anything. We're just kind of showing you here the potential once you light it. There's some artifacting right here. Probably need to grab that point right there and maybe bring it in a little bit. Right there. Oh yeah, that's much better so that we don't see that kind of triangle effect. Okay, that disappeared. All right, and then yep, thank you for watching. And then we're going to do another lesson, actually probably 3 more lessons in basic modeling, so that you get the idea of the low poly to the high poly process. All right, see you on the next video.